This man has played a lion's share in building the city's skyline. What makes Hyderabad a magnet for these companies to come in? If not the largest here in Hyderabad. Everywhere I look, the other logo is a JNM building.
We are the largest.
You're the largest. With the magnanimity of the growth that you're forcing over the next 10 years and being the number one realtor, it also comes with a lot of responsibility towards making sure that the ecosystem continues to be rich, the greenery sustains, the water bodies survive. When you look at that as a moral responsibility towards the city and its people, what steps are you taking to ensure that this continues to enhance and the diversity and the ecosystem continues to embrace the changing times of Hyderabad?
Patience over aggression.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another episode of the 𝗧𝗵𝗲 show from our Hyderabad studio. Today I have with me a very good friend, but I'm not calling him on the show for our friendship, but because this man has played a lion's share in building the city's skyline. I'm talking about Hyderabad. He is a magnet who's attracted multiple global capability centers here in the heart of Hyderabad. And boy, he continues to do that with immense pride. With 25 plus years of experience as Senior Managing Director of JLL, Mr. Sandip Patnaik. Sandip, welcome on the show.
No, thank you, Sunny, for inviting me in your show. I have seen a couple of your past episodes. It's just amazing the way you conduct the show and the way and the quality of guests you invite in your podcast. So once again, thank you for inviting me.
No, pleasure is all mine, Sandip. I think this was long due, and I'm glad that we are sitting here today. I feel that our audience can take a lot of learning and a lot more inspiration from your journey as we dive deep into what transpired you to do this and where we are. But let me start by asking you a personal question. Before you became the Sandip Patnaik of Hyderabad that we know you for, how did you start? What were your initial days and what inspired you to get into real estate?
I think when I reflect back on my journey, right, and I can tell you, I get very emotional. There's sense of pride as whatever little I've achieved. I started my career in Hyderabad with just a 3,500 rupees monthly salary on a 𝗃𝗃 scooter, and I don't have a fancy MBA degree from the elite B schools. Yes, much later I did my leadership program from INSEAD France, but it was much later, in somewhere in 2020-21. So when I started my journey, I did my hotel management from �υ𝗫ci 𝗵𝗵𝗵. I came to Hyderabad, joined a 3-star hotel as a sales executive. My starting salary, as I said, was 3,500 rupees monthly salary. But I had this, and I'm trying to give you an example how your thought process change your destiny. I was of view that if I don't do an MBA from a premium B school, absolutely I cannot be successful. And I first 4-5 years of my career, I can say that I was not focused on my work. I wasted thinking that I have to do MBA from a premium B school, whether it's IIM or a Jamnalal Bajaj or XLRI or SP chain. And I used to write CAT. Then I once or twice I got interview calls from the SP chains of the world, Nasimanji, but I could not make it to the interview. Then after the 4th attempt, I really introspected. I said that I will be successful without a fancy MBA degree. And I can tell you proudly that that once I thought that, changed my thought process. If you see, that's what I was saying. You are as good or as bad as your thought process. First 4-5 years of career, I couldn't achieve much because there's something which was stopping me here, that I can be only successful if I do an MBA. Then changing complete U-turn after failing in 4 to 5 attempts to crack the MBA, I said I will be successful without an MBA. So see how there has been a dramatic change in thought process, north to south pole.
Yeah.
First saying that I cannot be successful without MBA, then saying that I will be successful without an MBA. And then no looking back. and I joined JLL somewhere in 2005. So it's a lovely journey in JLL, close to 20 years. And I was in 2012, I became the youngest MD for the firm in JLL India. And at the same year, I was inducted into the Indian Leadership Council also. So while we talk, I'll tell you that whatever learnings I have on whether it is leadership, life, and my father is my role model, and I've taken a lot of leadership lessons. I have learned more from my father's style of leadership than I've learned from books. And then I can tell you with all confidence that leadership is my favorite subject, and the way I look at leadership is something I think I am proud of.
So JLL inducting you as one of the youngest MDs, it's quite a feat, quite an achievement. What do you think? What philosophy did you follow to make that possible for you?
I think couple of them. I think obviously the hard work and passion. At that point of time, I'm talking between 2005 and I was inducted in 2012 as an youngest MD. I used to work 14 hours a day, 7 days a week. Okay, and that passion, that fire in that I have to do something meaningful, right? It is not about just cracking deals, the multi-million dollar deals. It is about doing something meaningful for your life, for your company, and for the society at large. So a couple of big deals I and my team members have done, which I did 5, 7, 10 years back. I proudly tell to my kids, to my wife, you see this building, you see this land that has been done by JLL, by me and my colleague. So the way I look at life is that, and the professional career is that, are you doing something meaningful, which is touching various people? And that is how I look at, right? That is what, so my passion, my hard work obviously played a role in convincing JLL that I'm the right person to be inducted as one of the youngest MD. Second, I think I'm an internal optimist, right? I look at life very differently, right? And I've never been a transactional person ever in my life, right? Take an example. I met you, and then we became friends, but I had never had an expectations from you that you will give me that, right? And you see, you, after you started knowing me, after a lot of discussion on various, you thought that I am worthwhile calling in this show, but I never expected that. So my philosophy in life has been, is never be transactional in relationship, whether it's client, whether it's anyone, right?
Yeah.
And that is what I believe that good karma does. You just focus, be good to people, help them, and the help will come back to me. And I always believe a lot on I'm a very spiritual person, believe on the Almighty. And I say that जैसे हिंदी में बोलते हैं, ऊपर वाला सब देख रहा है. Be good to people, help people. You will surprised to know there are clients who say, Sandeep, we are doing this deal with your competitor, but we want your advice. So they don't have any fear that if they are telling Sandeep, who heads JLL here, when they're talking about the deal, what they're doing with my competitor, Sandeep is going to give a wrong, going to mislead them. I am the person, I'll say 100%, please go ahead with the deal. You're doing an amazing deal, and our competitor is doing an amazing deal. And that is what matters, that you have to be true to your relationship. You cannot be transactional. I think that is something very, very clear in my mind, that life is not about deal and making money. Yes, money is important, Sunny. Money is important. I'm not denying that. But at the end of the day, I want that my friends, my clients, people like you, whenever they see Sandeep from a distance, they should have a smile on their face. Oh, my friend Sandeep is there. Let's go and say hi to him, hug him. That is how I look at life. And that is, I think a lot of people say that I run my PNL as an entrepreneur. And that's a big statement. As you know, most of the senior executives in any professional firm, they always try to run that PNL from what is allowed, what is as per the so-called professional or company barometer. I run my PNL from just like an entrepreneur, as if I own JLL for the reason. And that a lot of people say that is the reason that you are successful because you never thought you're working for JLL. You always thought that this region is yours and you're running it as your owner. And I think that is one of the reasons why I think I have done well in my life.
Let's talk about the city that you call home, Hyderabad. If you were to summarize the Hyderabad energy, how would you do that?
Oh my God. I mean, I'm in Hyderabad here since 1998, right? What Hyderabad has seen in last one decade, I think, let's say from 2014-15 onwards, it's mind blowing, right? And a lot of my friends, a lot of clients who come from US, who come from Dubai, they're mesmerized seeing this city skyline. They just go bonkers seeing the quality of F&B we have, quality of restaurant, bar and lounge and stuff like that. And I can tell you with all confidence, is even you have seen, and you were just before this interview talking about how impressed you are with the city. And 10 out of 10 people I meet who come to Hyderabad, they say we have not seen a city like this, right? With so much of energy. This city has so much of energy, right? And I always believe that uh, if you it is not just one or two factors which makes the city a great. It is multiple factors, right? And one of those factors, it is about people coming from various parts of India, are they at ease in staying in Hyderabad? Do they love Hyderabad, irrespective of their food habits, irrespective of the language? And answer is big yes. You go and talk to people who have come from, migrated from north, west, east, everyone loves Hyderabad, right? That is point number one. Point number two is the city infrastructure, the quality of food and beverage restaurant. It's the quality of life. What Hyderabad really offers to its citizens or to most of the people who have migrated is the quality of life. It's very, very important. You work 7 to 8, 9 hours a day, right? You work 5 days a week. What do you look after that? After your office hours, over the weekends, you really need a good quality of life so that you can enjoy with your family and friends. And this city, I can tell you, the way it has evolved, it has become a true world-class city. And I've seen that, as I told you, I came to this place when this place was a small town, not even a city, in 1998. And the last 10 years have been phenomenal, right? And if you really see, and I'll strongly urge you that you should. I always believe that one of the major parameters to understand the economy of the city, you just go and see what is happening in the best of the hotels, see the crowd in the airport, see the quality of the airport, and see the quality of the F&B. These are the very easy parameters to understand the economy of that city. So these three: quality airport, great F&B, great restaurant, great lounges, right? And so this once you go and see that, right, you can understand what is happening in the city and how this city is very different from most of the city, right? That is something which stands apart for Hyderabad.
Hyderabad is often coined as the GCC capital of India now. With almost 70% of all the global capability centers, the new age GCCs, are setting up their offices here in Hyderabad. What do you think? Is it the talent? Is it good policies, good governance? Is it the infrastructure? What makes Hyderabad a magnet for these companies to come in?
I'll give you certain statistics. In last 2 years, or almost 62 or 63 GCCs out of, I say, around 140 GCCs have taken a call to set up the base in Hyderabad, right? This talks volumes about. And to your answer, why GCCs are really blessing Hyderabad, I think many reasons. The quality of talent, right? And quality of talent is amazing. And they also realize that it is not only the locals but the migrant population, and how is the migrant population are in Hyderabad when it comes to staying here. So it's just quality of talent, quality of infrastructure, great IT parks, and proactive government, right? So if, and I can challenge you, if any GCC or any company, right, if they say they want to meet the top IS officers of the state, or the IT minister, or the chief minister, to get some clarification or to get some help for their new GC setup, I can bet on my job. The most proactive, the most forward-looking IS officers and the ministers comes from this state, right?
Correct.
And we have seen that, right? Where the companies in other state, they struggle to get an appointment with the top IS officers, whether it is the secretary or the special secretary of ITs, the IS officers who are heading investments or different government bodies, or the IT ministers. I can tell you, within 48 hours or max within 3 days to 4 days, they will have an audience in front of these decision makers, and they get that confidence. Oh my God, for last 4 5 months we are struggling to get an appointment in other states with the policymakers. Here we are getting appointment in flat 2 to 4 days, and this shows the proactiveness of the government. I can tell you that this state of Telangana, this city, the top bureaucrats, let me tell you, the entire India and the country is run by bureaucrats, right? The way bureaucrats look at the companies is that, no, we are there to help you. You tell us what is the problem, and the bureaucrats and the top IS officers are there to help them. And this gives them the confidence as to why they need to set up the base in Hyderabad, not any other cities. At the end of the day, it is accessibility,
Yep.
right? When you're setting up the office or you have some problems during the office, whom do they reach out to? That's very easy. Government acts more like a true partner with the companies, not as a typical politician mindset or typical bureaucrat mindset.
Like you rightly mentioned that you have a pro-business government here. Government of Telangana has been very active and supportive. How does that amplify the game for a realtor like JLL?
It makes our life very easy. It makes our life very easy. So I'll give an example. We have our global clients, Indian clients, who are deciding which city to go and which city to set up their GCC or office. Then what happens? It's our client and we have to sell the city, right? I can tell you that people like me are very lucky, because the top bureaucrats and the ministers make our life simpler. If in other states, my counterparts have to sell 10 out of 10 things in the state, here I have to just sell 5 or 16. The rest 4 5s are literally sold by the top IS officers and the ministers, right? So it makes our life easier. So what happens is, when those companies who are setting up the bases see that it is not only JLL who is talking good about the city, right? See, we can be biased, right?
Correct.
But they're hearing from the horse's mouth and seeing that accessibility. And very interestingly, I don't know whether you know this, Hyderabad has this very unique thing which no other city has. Here there is a informal or / formal body of CXOs from various companies, GCCs, BFSI and all. What happens is, if a company wants to come to Hyderabad to set up their office, they will say, hey JLL, we have heard from you, we have heard from the government, but we want to really feel the pulse, the ground realities from the companies who have already set up their base. Can you help us? I said, it's very easy. It's not only that JLL clients, there is already 20, 30, 40 CXOs running big corporates in Hyderabad, whether it is GCC or IT companies. They have a formal, informal sort of a body. We put them to them. They go and talk. Look, you set up your office 3 years back, 5 years back. What are the challenges you faced? What are support you got from the government? And
Yep.
when they hear these positive stories right from, see, we can have our own reasons to sort of be biased. Government can also have some reasons to bias. But these are the corporate CXOs who are already operating in Hyderabad for the last 5, 7, 8 years, right? And when they talk good about Hyderabad, you don't need any marketing. So I feel that I'm as a head of this state, head of this PNL, I am blessed that I'm working for Hyderabad. I'm working in this ecosystem because
It complements your efforts.
yes, complements efforts. What efforts my counterparts will do in other city, other state, I don't have to do that, because you have this sound ecosystem of helping each other, complementing each other. So this is Hyderabad for you, and this has been Hyderabad for more than now 10, 12, 15 years.
You guys are one of the largest, if not the largest, here in Hyderabad. Everywhere I look, the other logo is a JLL building, and I'm sure you take it with a.
So I'll try to make a little correction. We are the largest.
You're the largest.
If not, we are
I
the
thought
largest
so.
in Hyderabad. Yeah.
You're already at top. You as the person and the man behind leading this from front, how do you innovate as a realtor in your space to make sure that you bring in more futuristic buildings and a better infrastructure for the residents and the occupants?
See, so as you know, JLL, other than helping company to set, we are into big time into project management, where we help developers to build buildings. We are in big time into interior fit out, and then once the company set up their base, they're operational, we do facility management. Right? There is a lot of innovation happening done at a global level by JLL when it comes to doing very sustainable interior fit outs. And once the company is operational, managing the facilities. Right? Only in Hyderabad, JLL is sort of doing almost 30 million square feet of facility management. Right? I can tell you that we cannot do the interior fit outs, we cannot run the facility management the way we are running 5-10 years back. You need to bring technology, you need to innovate. Only then you can have that niche market segment. Otherwise you are one among the hundreds, right? So we do a lot of tech tools. JLL has a lot of tech tools to sort of bring about sustainable practices in the interior fit out as well as the facility management. I can tell you, the way things are going, all corporates want to be good corporate citizens, and they want to make sure that they are reducing the carbon emissions, and JLL helps them to be a good corporate citizen when it comes to the reducing the carbon emissions through right practices in fit outs and right practices in the facility management. This is as far as the tenants are concerned. My question was about the developers, right? So when developers are planning to do residential towers or planning to do big office towers, the JLL project management team, who is going to sort of give them a lot of advice and inputs, right from the architecture, right from what materials to use, how to make it more climate friendly and more sustainable. Right, so that is something we in Hyderabad itself, we have more than almost 500 to 700 project managers who advises the best of the top residential developers and top office developers how it can be tenant friendly. And let me tell you, these top 1,000 corporates, Fortune 1,000 companies, Fortune 500 companies, they're so serious about sustainable buildings that even the developers know that these tenants are not going to come to them for their space if the building is not sustainable, if the building is not going to be platinum rated. So JLL goes out of the way to make sure that we do what is right for the tenant and what is right for the developer. So we have a lot of advisory practices to make sure this happens. By the way, two very interesting thing. I don't know, I'm not sure that you know, JLL is the only real estate firm out of all the real estate developers globally, our competitor real estate consulting firm, we are the only company in the world who is part of the World Economic Forum when it comes to being a part of the sustainable energy and sustainable partnership. We are the only real estate firm.
That's interesting. So in the same breath, if I were to ask you, what's next for Hyderabad in the next 5 years from your lenses? What's going to be the futuristic
So I believe that I'm a very proud Hyderabadi. I've been staying here for last 27 years, right? I've seen how this city has evolved. I can tell you, a lot of people are mesmerized seeing the Hyderabad skyline, seeing the quality of life. I can tell you, Sunny, this is just start. This is just a tip on the iceberg, and I can tell you that next 5-10 years is going to be much more exciting. It's much more exciting, and I think the way I visualize thing is that with this right governance, proactive policies, uh, and with GCCs blessing this city, the infrastructure. One thing good about in Hyderabad is people are very friendly. People are very, very friendly. It helps. It helps for the migrant population. Let me tell you, any city you go, whether it is Bangalore, whether it is, there are a lot of migrant people who come to work in GCC now.
Right.
What is the ecosystem and how friendly is the local people embracing the migrants is very, very important.
True.
Right? So that is something biggest plus point. I can tell you, it's just tip of the iceberg. Next 5 to 10 years, right? Now Hyderabad has crossed more than 100 million square feet of grade A office space. I'll not be surprised that what it took Hyderabad, the first IT building was constructed in Hyderabad way back by Chandrababu Naidu Garu, the then CM, in 1998, right? So we are talking of now almost 27, 28 years. What it took 28 years for Hyderabad to get 100 million square feet, I'll not be surprised that in next 10 years we see another 100 million square feet. That is the potential of Hyderabad when it comes to the commercial real estate. And I can tell you, the way government is planning on the infrastructure, right? Whether it is at the Raidurg, whether it is the Neopolis and different pockets, it's very futuristic. And basically, one thing about this city or the state which really differentiates from any other city, if you see all the cities, first the real estate, the buildings comes, and after the buildings have come, whether it is residential, whether it is commercial, then the local authorities scratch their head what to do about the infrastructure.
Right.
Here, first the infrastructure is planned and built, and then the buildings are come. Right. This is a very, very different the way a modern economy or the modern country, advanced country should think. And Hyderabad has been doing this from last 2 or 3 decades, to be very precise. Hyderabad is the first city where, upon the suggestions of the developers, the local authority decided that 10% of the building, right, needs to be mortgaged in a way that if there is any violation found once the building is ready, that 10% will not be released. Now, if someone is working or a 20% margin and 10% of the space is something which you cannot sell till the time you get an OC and till the time there is a certificate that you have not done any violation, right? So this happened some almost 8, 9, 10 years back. So a lot of this very, very, very forward looking policies has been bought in Hyderabad for the first time, and other cities are sort of trying to copy that model of growth. Even if you see 𝗃𝗃𝗃, right?
Yeah.
The most successful public, when people see 𝗃𝗃𝗃 building, when they go inside, they refuse to believe that this is a government initiative, right? This is a classic example of what government can do if there is a will, right? And a lot of states have come and taken clues as to how can they replicate the startup ecosystem 𝗃𝗃𝗃 model in their state, right? You come from Gujarat, right? And even I can tell you, the Gujarat startup ecosystem people have come to see what they can learn from the 𝗃𝗃𝗃 and Hyderabad ecosystem in many things, whether it is startup policies, whether it is public-private partnership, many front. Hyderabad has been pioneer and the first to do that, and then other cities and other states are following it.
Very, very interesting. With the magnanimity of the growth that you are forcing over the next 10 years and being the number one realtor, it also comes with a lot of responsibility towards making sure that the ecosystem continues to be rich, the greenery sustains, the water bodies survive, afforestation happens, as deforestation is unfortunately part and parcel of realtor. When you look at that as a moral responsibility towards the city and its people, what steps are you taking to ensure that this continues to enhance and the diversity and the ecosystem continues to embrace the changing times of Hyderabad, so that you don't end up becoming another city without naming some bad examples that we already have in our country, and you continue to be on top?
No. So you as a podcaster cannot name the city, but I love Hyderabad. I can name that city which you're hinting at. It's Bangalore. Now, I'll be lying if I say we are not facing the traffic issues. We have seen with rapid urbanization, we can see what are the side effects. We are seeing the traffic issues in last 2 to 3 years, right? And it's only becoming bad day by day, right? And I think you've asked an amazing question as to what we all see. Who are the stakeholders? There are 4 stakeholders. If you know, from a real estate and infrastructure, you have the government, local government. You have companies like us, JLL, who advises the companies. Then you have the corporate clients. Then you have the citizens. These are the 4 stakeholders. If I talk about, I think it is the efforts of all 4 stakeholders to make a city a livable city. Only government cannot do, only jail cannot do, only corporates cannot do, or only citizens do. What happens is that obviously we as a responsible corporate citizen have been advising the government, right? I don't know whether you know, in Hyderabad you have unlimited FSI, the only city which has unlimited FSI. Because of the unlimited FSI, you see the night skyline looks amazing. But what are the side effects? The problem with unlimited FSI is that it has a huge pressure on the city infrastructure in terms of the number of vehicles and all. So obviously we are facing the challenge, whether it is the right drainage system, trying to make the service road next to the ORR more wide, and all. So we are working towards this. We are strongly advising the government, and government is in has understands this traffic issue, and there are some talks in the government that then how do we sort of make the unlimited FSI more sustainable. Like at the end of the day, I always believe whatever you do, whether it is an architecture, whether it's a design, whether it's a drainage system, whether it is any infrastructure, can it sustain?
Yeah.
How long it can sustain? The issue is any idea which is just you can sustain it for 5 years, 7 years, 10 years is not a great idea. Can it sustain for next 30 years? Is something which modern economies, the countries in Europe and US have been thinking. But it's high time that we make our designs, we make our plans, whether it is city infrastructure, whether it is buildings, from a 30, 35, 40-year perspective, not for a 5, 10-year perspective. The issue happens that when you do something and first 5, 7 years you don't see any challenge because it has been designed to take that load, but you start seeing the problem when it cannot take that load after 7, 10 years. So it has to be futuristic, and to be very honest, all the 4 stakeholders need to come in and work towards these infrastructure issues, whether it is traffic issues, whether it's a drainage issue or the water logging issues and all. But I can tell you, whether it is the developer bodies, there are 2 developer bodies, one is 𝗀𝗽 and one is 𝗪𝗏, the Telangana chapter and Hyderabad chapter, and responsible firms like us and the government, who have been having regular dialogues and trying to sort of sit with the government and the local authorities to make sure that we don't go the Bangalore way.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sandip, as a leader, as you gear up your team for the fast moving progression that you're anticipating, you are known as a people-centric leader. Your team, your people, your colleagues, and your peers in the industry, they always say you are a very people-centric leader. What do you think? What are those leadership traits that you follow, that you preach in your team to build a sustainable and futuristic team to support this growth?
I think Sunny, this leadership is my favorite subject. I invest a lot of my time and energy to understand the various aspects of leadership. How can I become a better leader? I introspect a lot, right? And if someone says that leadership is a born trait, it's not correct. You evolve as a leader. I'm very sure that I'm a better leader now than I was 5 years back. At the end of the day, one has to introspect. I'll tell you a very interesting study which was done by Carnegie Mellon University some time back. They did a sample study of successful leaders and entrepreneurs. What are the reasons of their success? And you'll be surprised to know only 20% of the reason of their success was domain knowledge. What do you domain knowledge? Let's suppose I'm into real estate consulting. Domain knowledge is real estate as a domain. You know what was the reason? 80% of the reason for their being successful. 4 factors: ability to lead, ability to communicate, ability to collaborate, and ability to negotiate. Can you beat that? Most of the time, right? People think it is other way around. 80% domain and 20% no. So if you are a leader, you need to know how to lead. You need to know how to communicate. The worst thing a leader can do is to not communicate properly. Communication is very important with your peers and with your subordinates. And third is the ability to negotiate. What do you mean the ability to negotiate? It's not about salary hikes. It is about how do you negotiate and get that result in a very, very, very dignified way, whether it is with your subordinates, with your peers, whether it is with landlords, whether your clients and all. The ability to negotiate, and the most important is that ability to collaborate. I'm known in JLL as one of the most collaborative leader because I strongly believe in the power of collaboration. Right? It is gone are the days when you are I, me, myself. It is all about we working as a team.
Yeah.
Right? And this is a powerful outcome of that study. Right? And when I read this 7, 8 years back, and I could reflect that, right, that this is what leaders needs to be. That is point number 1. I think the way I look at the biggest attribute of any leader needs to be empathy, which most of the leaders lack. I have seen the leader might be leading 1 member team, 100 member team, 200 people. Leader is a leader, is leading. They lack empathy, they lack emotions, right? For them, it is all about the revenue, the numbers. I gave this the target, and you need to achieve it. And beyond that, they're not involved. The way I look at, I think my role model is my dad, who was the director and number 2 in national alumni, one of the public sector. What I've learned from him, right? When you try to be empathetic to the cause of your employees, your subordinates, your peer, right, and you just don't look at them as mere employees, just don't look at them as someone who is generating revenue, right, half the battle is won. Today's more the reason for today's generation, whether we call it Gen Z, they are not working just for the salaries or for the commissions, right? They want to be appreciated, they want to be felt that they're part of the system, they want to be embarrassed, right? And just think, I'm just giving an example, and I do that. If I see someone in the office, the chips are down, I walk to them, I said, hey buddy, I've been seeing this for last 2-3 days, I see you are really sad, what happened, let's go for a coffee, and can I help you in some way, why are you feeling sad, right? And this small thing, which is a big thing for him, right? Until unless leader tries to help people when they are in pain, right? You cannot say you are in pain and you have some major issues in your family, personal life, and you say, I don't care, I want this revenue, is a wrong leadership, right? So that is, empathy is the biggest attribute of a good leader and a great leader, right? Also, what happens is that I believe when you are a leader, the difference is that most of the people don't differentiate between a manager and leader, right? When you are a leader, you need to wear multiple hats. You exactly need to know when you have to act as a boss, when you have to act as a friend, when you need to act as a mentor, philosopher, and guide. It's very important. You cannot just wear one hat of being a boss or just being a philosopher. You need to know which aspect of leadership you need to. And I always say, this is my favorite. I tell this and this example to a lot of my peers and subordinates and employees. You know, I say, for certain problems, health problems, allopathy cannot help. You need homeopathy. Certain problem you need Ayurvedic or you need Unani. I say, every person, if you are facing some issues and the other person is facing the same issue, I cannot give the same solution to you. The leader needs to understand the DNA of that person, the thought process, and you need to find a solution which suits that. I cannot give the same allopathic medicine to you and him. I need to understand and then give for the same problem. For the same problem, but solution needs to be different, because at the end of the day, you are dealing with human emotions, and every person analyzes the issue very differently, right? For you, for one employee, not getting promotion is a big issue. For another person, this of the same cadre, the problem is that he's not getting recognized, even if getting promoted. He got promoted for some reason, but after 6 months, he's saying that I'm not getting recognized. Here's an issue. So you need to find out the root cause of the problem and give a solution which suits that person. And what the biggest problem with leadership in the modern, corporate structure is, we try to give the same solution to everyone. It does not work.
Right.
It does not work. You need to know. Sometimes what happens is that, I always say, many a times, when you make them feel that you are for them, the leader is for them, you go. If you fall, I'm there, right? Go and do that mistakes. We are there to take care of you. Just that mere confidence that my leader is going to back me, irrespective whether I am a successful or failure, it just makes them fly. They don't need anything. They just need that assurance, right? And we are not there to give them assurance. So I look at leadership and life from that angle, is that, am I touching people's life? And I'm not trying to play to the gallery. People who have worked for me knows that. And I'm just because I'm in the podcast, I'm not saying this big thing. I really believe that leader needs to touch the lives in some way or other,
Yeah.
the subordinates. That is way the leadership I look at, right? And I'll give you a classic example, right? One of the employees was really struggling with his mother's health, and was little disturbed. What does leaders do? Oh, what is happening to your mother? Okay. Oh, I'm really sorry to hear this about your mom, and we wish her a speedy recovery. Most of the leaders will do that.
Yeah.
Then I realized that I sat with that person. I'm just giving this example to understand what is the issue. Then I realized that they've been going to the wrong hospital the wrong day. Then I said, okay, let me make sure you get this appointment with the right doctor at the right hospital. I spoke to the hospital owner, gave the history of this person, the mom's issues, made sure that the top doctor attended. What happened is that he realizes that his leader has gone out of the way to help him.
Yeah.
It is just not a lip service that, okay, we wish you a speedy recovery, wish your mom a speedy recovery. And it's a small thing, but goes a long way to make sure those person feel that there is someone to take care of that. Right?
Yeah.
So I always say that the biggest attribute of a leader is empathy. And unfortunately, most of the leaders lack empathy.
This is a very important learning or a leadership lesson that you just gave, which you won't even find in big business schools. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Moving on to an important announcement I just saw in the news. Under your leadership, JLL advised the government to what looks like a record-breaking land acquisition deal. Can you tell more about it?
Yeah, I think this happened a couple of weeks back. We advised the state government of Telangana, the TGIC, Telangana Infrastructure Corporation, for the auction process. We were the exclusive sole advisor. It went on in fact, it is the biggest ever, the most successful, the record-breaking auction by any state government ever. 177 crores per acre. I think this happened a couple of weeks back. Local farmer giant Amazon bought 7.6 acres of land. And I always see that as an advisor to the government. It can be government, it can be anyone. If you're hired as an advisor, you have to make sure that you are doing justice for that appointment, right? You are advising them right strategy. You advise them the right way to run the auction and tell them what is possible, what not possible, right? And it was a long-term process, a lot of brainstorming, a lot of strategies. How do you make sure that this is a record auction, right? And we are very happy that JLL was the part of this auction. And as I said, many a times when I reflect and I tell my kids, I tell my wife, you know what? This big deal was done by JLL and I was part of that. So when I do after 10 years, or 15 years, when I retire, I'll be very proud enough to tell still then that, this auction of 177 crore, I played an integral role along with my colleagues in JLL. So I think what really helped is the right strategy,
Right.
the way we advise the government to make sure that we get the highest price for that. And it is phenomenal, and it's talk of not only the nation, the people from this state who are staying in US are talking about this auction of 177 crore per acre.
That's brilliant. We get to a very interesting aspect of our podcast. We call it the rapid fire.
Sure.
We're going to throw in a few questions. You have to respond to it spontaneously. So are you up for it?
Yeah, please go ahead.
All right. So tell us one leadership book that changed your perspective to life.
I can tell you again. My father is a role model. I have learned leadership from my father right from childhood. Any day, observing my father, I have learned more than from leadership books. For me, my father
Very
is the
inspiring.
biggest book I have read. if
Very
I have to say.
inspiring. That was my second question actually. Who's that one leader in your life that you look up to as a North Star?
My father. All the way my father. I've seen him how he has operated when he was the top guy in national revenue, one of the top 10 public sectors. I've learned I think almost all the leadership skills, how to be empathetic, how to be a better listener, how to look at leadership from different parameters is all thanks to my father.
Oh, wonderful. One word to define the progress of Hyderabad.
Mind blowing.
Mind blowing. Favorite global city that you personally draw inspiration from?
See, I'm in commercial real estate, right? So no city better than New York.
And one piece of advice to a 25-year-old Sandip Patnaik, if he was watching you today.
Patience over aggression. It's good to be aggressive. It's good to be hustler. But what really pays, whether it is a career, whether it is a stock market broker, anything, it is patience. Life and career is not T20 cricket or T10 cricket. It is a test match. And enough statistics and thing, if you see whether it's a stock market or whether it is someone who has invested in land, who has patience to play a long innings is the clear winner at the end of the day. It is so. At the 25, I was so aggressive. I wanted to do things in a jiffy. I wanted everything to be done in a jiffy, right? I think my advice to Sandip Patnaik of 25 years old, please bring patience to your life.
Sandip, with that, we come to an end of this episode. I think your journey in shaping up Hyderabad, the role that you played via JLL to make sure that Hyderabad continues to be a global capital for GCCs in India, has been truly inspiring. And I'm sure as you look back at your legacy, as we all grow old, as we retire, as you're driving through the city skyline, you will see what you built. And the generations to follow will continue to seek inspiration from the impact that you created to this city and its people.
No, thank you. Thanks a lot for this wonderful podcast and being a wonderful friend thank you for the kind words. And I the way I look at it is that that I need to add value to this city. I need to do my honest contribution to the city to grow to the next level. I'm a proud Hyderabadi. While my Orissa is my Janambhumi, my Karambhumi is Hyderabad. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to retire here. I always think, how can I add value to the city's growth? And I'll continue doing what I'm doing, trying to add value to the city's growth, add value to JLL as a company, add value to my life. But once again, thank you for inviting me to your podcast. Thank you, Sunny.
Before we sign off, Hyderabad is blessed to have a wonderful citizen like you.
Thank you. Thank you,
continue doing all the good work that you are.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Sandip Patnaik, the man behind this city's skyline we all know as Hyderabad. Please continue to subscribe to our channel and stay tuned for more such interesting conversations. Until then, this is goodbye. Thank you so much.